excited for all the guys that participated.
Are you faster with your pitching?
I hope so. That was the idea, at least. So.
Do you know what you ran out there?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I heard 4.45 and a 4.5 something. 4.5s.
Did you have a goal today coming in, or what were you thinking coming in?
No numerical goal. Run hard and do as best I can. That's the goal.
What kind of questions are you getting mostly from scouts during this whole process? What are they?
I think they want to look at everybody's background. You know, where'd you grow up? Tell me about your family situation, and then from there it kind of stems into whatever you want it to be. Tell me about the program you were just in. How'd you go to Stanford, et cetera, et cetera.
Some of the passes that Andrew threw you were high, made you go up for them. Was that something you guys had discussed? Did you want him to sort of throw it high so that you could show your leaping ability?
Yes and no. I mean, for example, the last play, the fade, is obviously an intentional high ball. And some, I think, Andrew just tries to make me look good, as he's done for the past few years. So it's been beneficial to me, and nothing changes today. So.
The NFL has seen a lot more tight ends who are more big wide receivers. How much of a value has it been for you to be in offensive systems where you're expected to do pretty much everything the quote-unquote old-school tight ends are expected to do?
Yeah. I think the coaches like to see film you doing a variety of things. I think blocking, running routes from a tight end position, running routes from a wide receiver position is all helpful to me. And I think the coaching staff that we have has put us all in good positions to succeed.
Coach Shaw said he'd be surprised if you got past 26 or 27 in the first round. Is your expectation at this point to be a first-round draft pick?
I have no expectations on draft day. I mean, I hope to go as high as I possibly can, but as far as what number I'm going to go, it matters to me, but it's not something that I'm going to be disappointed if I'm not number X.
But as far as just talking with scouts and whatnot, you haven't been able to get a clear picture on that?
No, I don't ask them when they're willing to pick me or anything like that.
Some of the draft pundits have said, you're a great receiving tight end, but you're not a great blocking tight end. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
What names were those?
Whenever your name is mentioned, they say that's more of what you are, a receiving tight end. Do you bristle at that when you hear something like that?
Well, I think the answer to your question is yes and no. I agree that my strength is my receiving, but I think that Coach Crook and the coaching staff have done an excellent job of emphasizing the run game for us. I hope that my film shows that I'm a willing blocker, and I'm definitely willing to improve on that.
With 4 potential first-round picks in this draft class, what does it say about the teams you've played with and been a part of? And that just the whole recruiting system that Stanford has.
It's exciting for Stanford, especially this past year, continuing that with a great recruiting class. And I think Coach Shaw and his staff have done an excellent job of keeping that tradition going. And so hopefully in years to come, being a Stanford football fan that I am, I'll see a lot of success.
Do you think you're impacted at all by what seems to be the trend now in the NFL of these big pass-catching tight ends and how teams are incorporating them into their systems?
I hope so. I'm very thankful for the Gronkowskis and Jimmy Grahams of the world for what they've done in the past couple of years. It's helped our tight end draft class, and I'm absolutely thankful.
Can you kind of describe what it was like taking the practice field? I mean, you guys are out there all the time, but the national media, and there's never been this much hype, I don't think, for pro day here.
Yeah, it was interesting to look back to the quarterback and see a wall of people behind him. Something that you quickly adjust to, I guess. But when you're out there running routes and doing the drills, you don't really pay attention to the people. Just like in a game, you don't hear the fans, you don't see the fans. It's the same game field that you've always practiced and played on.
Did it feel like you guys were just out doing your usual pass and catch thing, or did you? It seemed like you guys were having a decent time. Andrew seemed relaxed.
Yeah, we had practiced a fair share of pro day stuff. So in that sense, it was was a little bit rehearsed, but at the same time, you can never really set yourself up for that kind of stage. I had no idea that there were going to be so many coaches, media, scouts, etc. out there.
Outside of the obvious physical characteristics, what will make Andrew a great pro? And then the same question about you.
Andrew will be a great pro because of his brain and his hard work. The kid is, it seems like you can give him endless amounts of information and he can process it and then access it and use it during a game. I think you guys saw during the combine that he has probably even more tools than people give him credit for as far as his physical attributes.
And then for you, same question.
Hopefully having Andrew Luck on my team again. I don't know. I guess.
Well, what do you think you bring best to the NFL?
I think speed and hands are probably my strengths at this point, and I'd like to improve the other aspects of my game.
Did you tweak your ankle during the shuttle run?
A little bit. I slipped on one, and as more of a precaution than anything, I just got it taped. So it's fine now. No big issue.
Is it the same ankle from the Fiesta Bowl?
Yeah.
Those of us who cover the 49ers get a lot of questions. People on Twitter or whatever about are they going to take Coby Fleener, number 30 pick? Do you get the same thing just because of your connection with Harbaugh? I mean, people ask you a lot about maybe if you go to the 49ers.
I've heard it mentioned, but nobody really asks me where I'm going to go because I tell them I have no idea. I mean, I won't know until draft day, just like the rest of you guys. One day you think one thing, and then somebody signs with a team in free agency, and you have no idea where you're going. So to guess is kind of a fool's game.
Do you have any specific visits planned for teams?
Yes, but I don't. Out of respect for the teams, I won't say.
Do you think that all the media that came out to see Andrew Luck, does that benefit you, especially because you weren't able to run and do everything at the combine?
You mean the media wasn't here to see me? No, I'm just kidding. No, absolutely. I mean, I think Andrew brings a lot of attention. For guys like me or Griff Whalen or Chris Owusu or any of the guys on our team. We found it beneficial to have Andrew around not only as a quarterback but as a leader of the team and now as a media draw, if you will. Whether that impacts any of our draft statuses remains to be seen, but it's exciting nonetheless.
You have a couple of fairly decent offensive linemen that you've worked with. How much did offensive linemen and tight ends use it? I mean, how much do you use those guys as resources for blocking and things like that to get your game better in that regard?
Yeah, well, we pretty much start every practice down with the offensive linemen, doing individual with them, working on blocking. So to have them as a resource, hey David, hey John, I have a quick question about this or that, is a great resource to have, absolutely.
How many times did you guys go through that script in the last couple of weeks?
Maybe two or three.
How far do you think Andrew could throw the ball? He just was in a distance contest?
Shoot. What was it at the end of practice? Did you
About
say that?
75.
Yeah,
75.
I think he could have launched it further than that. So, I don't know. Maybe arm strength isn't his weakness after all. I don't know. It's really amazing because he's one of those kids where you have Andrew on one end who seems like he can never be outrun. You can't outrun his arm. But then you have Chris Owusu on the other side who seems like you can't overthrow him. So it's kind of like, all right, who's going to win out? Is it Chris's speed or is it Andrew's arm? So it's pretty interesting.
Were you glad to see he was on the run so much in this because it still seems like his mobility is this underrated asset?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can remember a game against, I think it was Wake Forest, a scramble that he made for 50-plus yards, and somehow that is ignored completely. And I think he's an amazing athlete and a great quarterback and a great guy.
Was there any talk about him catching some passes today?
No, I think Andrew would be a very highly rated tight end.
Anything else, guys? Coby, were all the
Yes, yeah.
Other than you four, the two offensive linemen, Andrew and you, talking about going in the first round, who else do you think might have impressed some scouts today? Some of those guys who maybe weren't so highly touted.
I mean, I was impressed with all of our guys, to be honest with you. They ran well, well practiced, and I think every time that the scouts come to Stanford, they see that the guys not only want to compete but will do things well and listen to coaching and stuff like that. So, I mean, you could go down the line, and I think I was impressed with all of them.
Thanks, Coby.